Good morning, everybody. Welcome into this beautiful facility here at Indian Creek and for the 2026 Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. This is our media day. I'm Ravi Lulla from Hurrdat Sports, and I'll introduce our panel here real quick. We've got Jessica Brabeck. She is, hold on, let me find her name here, tournament director for the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. Down there on the end, we've got Jim Nedrow. He is the GM of Indian Creek and a Support Nebraska board member. Right here we have Nate Vance. He is the Nebraska qualifier champion. Then we've got right next to him, we've got Caden Michelson. He was the Indian Creek Invitational winner. He'll be an exemption as well. And then we have, there we go, Brett Renner. He is the digital media director for the PGA of America Nebraska section. So those are our panelists for today. We'll get some questions for all of our guests here and kind of go through a rundown of what's new, what's changed, what's the same. Obviously, there's a lot new around Indian Creek here in the last year. So, Jess, we'll start with you. Let's kind of just start with some broad changes, not necessarily to the club itself. We'll ask Jim some of those, but just to the tournament, some of the things that have changed since last year that you're really excited about.
Sure. Thank you. I would say first and foremost, we're going into year 10. So, when you look at the trajectory of how much the event's grown, aside from the trees, when we're figuring out where we're going to build on the golf course, things have really changed with the awareness of the event in the community and our charitable giving. We've surpassed $1.1 million, which has been really rewarding. But overall, I think just with having the event out here and being 10 years at Indian Creek has been a great partnership in and of itself. And then with this year, if today's weather can just be, this first week of August, when we first started those early years, middle July, that was a warm one. So that would be great. But, I can speak a little bit too in some of the other fun amenities that we're going to have out here, but just hopefully everyone is aware of what the event is. First and foremost, that we are a nonprofit. So the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse is actually a 501c3, and we have this great opportunity to put on this professional golf event, and then all the proceeds go back to children's charity.
I think that's a thing that a lot of people don't necessarily know is the charitable aspect of this. You mentioned over $1 million raised over the 10 years here as the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. When you're going through, you mentioned the charities that these are going to. Can you talk a little bit more about where that money goes and how that's kind of decided?
That's one of my favorite things to talk about. So we have over 600 volunteers that actually help with our event. So the minute that you're parking at Metro Community College and you're riding our Speedy Mart shuttles over to the golf course, and our volunteers are checking your ticket and they're helping direct you where to go, we have volunteers that are providing those amenities inside the structures and those hospitality tents. So we have volunteers that are bartending, and then those tips go back to the charities. We have our RSM Putting Challenge and Youth Day on Saturday morning of the event, which is a lot of fun. We're actually going to have a record 17 teams out here this year, so that's just in. And each nonprofit that participates is guaranteed a $5,000 check. And then RSM has put up prize money with that. So we will have some collegiate or professional athletes that will come and do the putt-putt challenge with the kiddos. And it's just such a feel-good thing. It's a very great visual for them. We're going to have face painting this year, so I hope all of you come and get your face painted. It's going to be good. We have a great 10-year logo. I think that would fit really nicely. Probably not on your beard, but we'll work on that. Your forehead, that's good. And then Brett will talk too about the junior section has their junior league championship on Saturday, so you just have more kiddos that are out there. And then on Tuesday, Indian Creek will have their junior pro-am. But from the charity side of it, people also don't realize that the planning of this is a year-round event. So we actually have our Cards for Charity event a few months ago in which we gave $50,000 to 2 local charities as well. And so we've already been amassing those donations here for 2026. So then once the 2026 event is final, then we'll come out with our latest charitable giving.
I'm happy to say that me being bad at poker helped contribute to that event as well. So appreciate that. You mentioned the PGA Junior League. So Brett, I want to get down to you here. For those unfamiliar with what the PGA Junior League is and what the League Section Championship for Nebraska is, can you explain a little bit about that event and what the players have accomplished to get here?
Yeah, so it's really cool. I was just talking to Nate. I think when kids play the game at that age, team events are really cool and a welcoming environment for them. And the PGA of America, a few years ago, started PGA Junior League, and they really dove into it. And our section took it, and basically PGA professionals at facilities, whether it's private, public, all across the section, which covers all of Nebraska, Iowa, and a little bit of South Dakota, they sign up, and there's a PGA coach for each team at that facility. Whether the kids are members or if they're public, they can sign up if it's public, obviously. But then they compete as a team within their region against other clubs and other facilities. And at the end of the year, yesterday we just hosted our qualifier for our event that we'll hold at the Pinnacle Bank. And it's so cool. These kids get to come in their jerseys, play on the Red Feather course right next to where the tour professionals are playing. And quite frankly, I don't think they care what they score that day, so that makes it a lot easier on everyone. But no, they truly enjoy it. It all starts with them walking up to the driving range. They have their own little stalls right next to the tour pros. And, yeah, I don't really think they swing. They just look at the tour pro and hope that's them one day, and it's really cool.
And a few years ago, one of them really sunk that putt. There was a really big cheer.
Yeah, so our 13U division came down to actually like the last pairing and the last two kids, and it was Harper Colleen, which his dad's actually a PGA professional at Fremont, so it was kind of a cool story. But yeah, it was probably legitimately 60, 70 feet, and he made it to win as they were finishing on 9 and 18 green at the tournament, so I think it was just really cool for that to happen.
Brett, you mentioned the how cool it is for them to be playing right alongside the course that they're playing here for the Korn Ferry Tour as well. Why do you think that matters so much for golfers of that age to experience a tournament venue and a tournament atmosphere like that?
Well, I think especially at Junior League, there's a lot more emphasis on younger junior golfers, and I think a lot of them at that age are trying to develop that love, that true love for the game, or figure out what their aspirations and dreams are, and seeing local flavor like these two next to me be able to play in that tournament, and now they're playing right next to them. Seeing people that they've seen it make it to the PGA Tour just from this event, I think those are all things they can wrap their heart and minds around, that they can maybe accomplish one day if they see Caden and Nick or Nate can do it. Why can't they?
So just for people that maybe aren't familiar, how much has the Nebraska section of the PGA Junior League grown in recent years, and what changes have you seen there?
Yeah, it's whether it's PGA Junior League or any program, junior golf in Nebraska is not only growing, but I think it's not the key, but the talent is becoming a lot better too. I think Nate could speak to that, just the scores he saw as a kid, and now what these kids are scoring now, it's incredible. But for numbers, Junior League used to be 300, 400, 500 kids, and this year there's going to be 1,533 kids across the state playing. And again, it's at private, public courses. It's went up 230 kids just from last year. It's truly incredible how many kids in this state in our section are playing golf and truly loving it.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. You brought up Nate, so let's talk to Nate here. He is our Nebraska qualifier. Just what does it mean for you to have won that and to be able to play in this event?
Well, it's a great opportunity, and I'm thankful for the sponsor exemption spot to be available to us. It's great to play in this event at a high level and have the opportunity to, gain some points and potentially do something crazy like win the event. So it means a lot, and it's nice to represent Lincoln and Nebraska as a state in this tournament, and it's a great golf course. I like playing out here. So.
How are you going to change your approach to when you've played here before till this go around?
So, I'm pretty good at making mistakes. So I've played in this event a couple times, and I plan to learn from those mistakes. And preparing for the tournament, you really got to hone in on your weaknesses to make sure you have those under control for those big moments that you could potentially be in. So just being out here on the course for many hours, focusing on putting and short game, of course. So yeah, that's kind of how I'll prepare.
One of the years, didn't you actually have to finish your Friday round Saturday morning? Were you a part of that group?
Yeah.
Rained away?
Yeah, and the
What's
rain
that
delay.
like? I've always wanted to ask. What's that like?
Well,
That'd be great.
the weird part of it was not finishing Saturday morning, but teeing off at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. That's something you don't do very often. So you're kind of sitting around all day. Maybe got prepared
Yeah.
early in the morning to go play, and then you had to wait 8 hours. It was new. That was something new for me. It was uncomfortable, and unfortunately, it kind of got to me. I didn't play spectacular golf that late evening, but it does kind of throw you off a bit, and that's where experience comes in. So now that I've been through that before, I kind of know what to expect.
Was it more just like mentally, just I gotta get as many holes in as I can before it gets dark, and is that kind of like ticking in the back of your mind a little?
Oh, not too much.
One year we had to make a couple interns be walking scores, and they literally ran the 18th hole, and I thought the kids were gonna die.
It does come down to, like, at sunset, if you have 1 or 2 holes left, you really don't want to have to wake up at, or tee off at 6:30 a.m. the next day to play 1 hole. So, like, we weren't in that kind of situation, but yeah, if you're on the 18th hole, like, one guy's sprinting to the box to get the first tee shot off, so you don't have to play the next day or the next morning. So I was just on the other side of the wave. I was at the end of it, so I had no worries, really.
Didn't have a choice.
So one of the things that the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse is known for are the crowd sizes and kind of the atmosphere here. I know when I'm golfing, I have somebody just come up behind me and it's a foursome. I got 4 people watching me. I get nervous and can't really hit the ball, but that might be a me problem. Just what's it like playing in front of a crowd like that as opposed to just kind of your regular rounds?
It's fun. It's exciting. Here, it's a local crowd, so I know I'll have some friends and family in the stands watching. It's something to get used to. I played in this 8 years ago, and I remember that was my first experience playing in front of a big crowd, and it makes you nervous. It really does. There's no getting around it. So kind of goes back to experience. I haven't played in too many, tour events with a large crowd, but it adds some excitement. You really, if you're hitting a shot into a green, you can't see the hole. You don't know where your ball ended up. You can kind of get a reaction from the crowd, like, did I hit a good shot? So you have some feedback from the crowd, especially in those moments where, they're ready to cheer for a long putt or something like that. Those are always special, and those are moments I'll remember for a while. A couple years ago, I had made a pretty long putt on 18, and it kind of, everybody kind of erupted, and then I don't really feel my feet anymore. I feel like I'm floating off the ground, but it adds a lot of excitement to it.
We'll move on to Caden Michelson here, who won the Indian Creek Invitational, and that was, you were talking about a little bit before we started here, pretty drama-filled in terms of your ability to finish off and win there. Kind of walk me through, especially that last hole where it's really tight and you've got to do a little bit of work to win that thing.
Yeah, so we both came to the 18th tied, and we both hit good tee shots and good approaches, so it all came down to the putts, and we both had roughly 30 feet. I was lucky enough to be just inside of him, so I got a little bit of a read and a teach off of it, and saw pretty much exactly what it was doing. But I went ahead and made it after I kind of saw the line from his putt, and it felt really good, but the whole day it was just neck and neck. Like, nobody was really running away with it. Nobody was falling back. So it was very close. It was very exciting. And then, to have that going on 18, it felt awesome. And, now to be here, it means a lot.
When you're in a tight battle like that the entire day, how do you feel like that changes your approach, or is it one of those things where you really just have to stick to your game and try and execute?
I think it's just stick to your game and execute, and I think the experience piece is that as you get into that spot more, you become more comfortable, but really the goal is, when you're sleeping on a lead or when you're in contention on a final round, you don't necessarily need to go out there right away and take the lead. You just need to stay in it and have a shot, because anything can happen on those last few holes. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of putts made in the last 3 or 4 holes of our little battle, and really, you just got to stick to your game and hit quality shots, and then just keep yourself in it. If you can do that, whether you win or lose, that's really all you can control.
Caden, all right, so after you hit the putt on 18, you've got a chance for it to go in there. what's going through your head as you're watching the ball roll towards the hole and you think it's got a shot?
I thought I hit it a little bit too hard. It was coming in with some speed, but I had just seen the line, and I hit a great putt. So, you know, I was happy with the way I hit it and watching it go through the hole. I mean, it was just tracking the whole way. So to see it go in, it felt awesome. It meant a lot, and I mean, can't really ask for anything better on 18.
Caden, we appreciate it. Good luck to both you and Nate in the tournament here. It'll be exciting to root for you guys. Jim, going to go over to you now. Obviously, a ton of changes over the facility over the last couple years. I know that you've been kind of doing the rounds on all the clubhouse highlights and everything like that. What are you most excited for people to see when they come out here for the championship?
I mean, all of it. The practice facility is going to be great. I mean, just going back to, you know, my time with the agronomy department, that piece is exciting. The putting green, the chipping facility. I think the players will really appreciate that. Those players that have been here before and are returning will really be excited about that. And the chipping facility is, I mean, gosh, I think it was 3,000 square feet. The chipping fairway around it was just kind of an afterthought, really small, and I mean that's a 13,000 square foot complex now, and you know fairway and bunker surround it, you know, and it's going to be a unique spot for people to view too. I think if you want to come out and get a feel for how good these players are, the best spot to do that's the practice facility. And when we designed that, we designed it in a way where it is spectator friendly. There's some pads up there and easy access up there, and we've routed the cart paths in a way that kind of keeps spectator traffic separate from the golf traffic going from 9 green to 10 tee. So that would be a spot that I would certainly visit. I'd take the kids up there and sit up there and watch. It's the ball flight is something. I mean, just the sound. You know, the compression is different than anything anyone really experiences in their regular golf. So that's exciting. I mean, the restaurant and the lounge and everything, I think is great. The snack bar is going to be fun. We're gonna be right there as you enter, and you know the chefs and the food and beverage team's excited to do some cool things out of that snack bar. I think that'll be a nice addition to you know the patron experience for those that aren't in a chalet or down on 17. Now we've got a really unique spot up here where you've got a beautiful view of the first tee box and you know, an opportunity to get you know a really great food and beverage experience up there. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, all of it. It's gonna be cool. It'll be nice that you know. Last year it rained through the ceiling most of the week. It'll be nice to be able to walk through here and not get wet. You know, and the parking lot's not a mess. So it'll be fun to not have an active construction site on top of a golf tournament, on top of all the weather issues we had. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I'll say find something here. Jim, you know, I find this fascinating because obviously we're here for the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse, but this is also a public golf course for 51 weeks a year. How do you, when you're going through the planning process of the practice area and the facility and everything like that, like how do you balance the professional aspect versus what this course does the 95% of the time?
Yeah, that conversation, that balance has been a conversation since the day we signed the contract, you know, probably 11 years ago. You know, as we made some changes to the golf course, added some length, added some bunkers, we tightened some fairways. And so even, you know, going back to working with the architects, at that point we worked with Todd Quitno of Lohman Design, or well, now Quitno Design, who did the renovation in 9, 10, and 11. And we worked with the PGA Tour architects as well in 17 to try to, you know, again, impact the golf course in a way that challenges the tour players but doesn't challenge the daily fee golfer. Same with the practice facility. I think we wanted to build something that, you know, the tour has specifications and things they need from a practice facility. And so, you know, you go down the line and you check those boxes. But at the end of the day, you know, every week other than one, we are a daily fee facility. So we have to lean that direction more than we do into the tour, you know, side of things, but the balance is pretty easy. I mean, you can set up a golf course that can accommodate both. I mean, outside of the rough, I think the course plays generally the same leading up to and after the tournament. So I think we've done it.
I have a question for you, Jim. So I was listening to an interview you did the other day, and you were talking about how you've narrowed the fairways a little bit. So obviously these two are going to crush it off the tee box a little bit more than me. But how does that then impact the length of the round that someone like me would come out? And again, remember, I'm very good. But how does that impact, the pace of play, and then having all your youth programs that you have out here? And, yes, you had to take down a bunch of trees a couple years ago with the storms, but how does that, because I think it's easy to say, okay, we've added length, you've added tee boxes and things, but how else does that come into play?
There's so much data out there. I mean, you can go out and choose the areas you want to narrow and where you want to add a bunker based on where the data shows these golfers, these professional golfers, will be playing from. And so that played a role in it. We didn't just go narrow the entire fairway. We found areas and pitch points that we knew would not impact the daily fee player, but would impact the tour player. And we didn't narrow them. I mean, there's only a handful of holes out there that we did that. And I would argue most people, if we did that in the fall of whatever year, I'd probably argue most players that started playing again in the spring didn't even know that it was anything that we did. So there's a lot of data out there.
That's just kind of letting the native grass kind of grow.
You just spray out the fairways and reseed in those areas. I think it was, I'm trying to think, we did Tournament 3, Tournament 4, Tournament 7, Tournament 9, Tournament 11. And honestly, if you would go back and look at an aerial of those areas, we did take a significant amount of fairway out on all of those holes, anywhere from 10 to 15 yards of width out of those areas. But again, they're pretty far past where an average golfer would hit. The other thing we have too, which is beneficial, is we have a million tee boxes. I mean, you can play this course at a number of different yardages. If you play out here and you find you're landing in those pinch points or the bunkers are right in your way, then move up, move back, and you can change the way the course plays.
Jim, I think something that maybe not a lot of people are aware of is the effort that it takes to get this course ready for a professional golf event. It really is kind of a year-round process. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about the goal of having it peaked and in the exact right condition that you're looking for that specific week, and the work that takes throughout the year?
Yeah, it is all year, but typically when we build out our agronomic schedules, we start on Tournament 1 and we work backwards. So our fertility programs, our fungicide programs, our cultural practices are all built off of August 3rd, and then we backtrack. And it rarely, take a fungicide schedule, for example, or a fertility schedule, it rarely works out exactly like you want it to, but everything's built backwards. So we know at this point in the season we should be doing this, or we should be doing this, or we should be doing that. A lot of that comes from experience, like year one. I remember leading up to year one, I mean, it was a stressful year. We had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
We just expected the worst and planned for the worst for an entire calendar year. Yeah, and it was hot, and it was something. But now it's I don't want to say it's old hat, but there's a lot of consistencies from year one, or year 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 that we just kind of fall in and follow. It has gotten easier. Mother Nature ultimately is in control, but it has gotten easier for sure.
Pretty consistently with what we do over at Herd At Sports, we hear these golfers over and over and over talk about how this is one of their favorite stops on the Korn Ferry Tour. I guess, just how much pride do you take in that this is a place that not only is a great place for people in the Omaha area to come golf, but that professional golfers enjoy coming here so much and playing the course?
The Gotch family, when we sat down and 10, 11, 12 years ago and started this conversation, they said, and we were all in agreement, that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we're going to treat it like our U.S. Open, and that's been the goal. And the resources have matched the expectations, which isn't always the case. I've talked with a couple events out there that here's the expectation, but the resources don't quite match what that is, and we've been fortunate enough at Indian Creek that that's not the case. So we're proud of that. It is the goal. We're intentional about it. We say it out loud. We want to be the best, and for the most part, we are. And our goal every year is whatever gets thrown our way, we want to handle it better than anybody else, right? And people judge a tournament and a golf course by different metrics, and every golf course is in a different climactic region, and they have their own challenges. So you have to there's context when you're comparing course to course. But I do feel like we've handled anything that's been thrown at us as well or better than any facility out there, for sure.
Jess, I know that not just from the golf side of things that we try and make this the best tour event of the year, but also from a fan perspective, from everything else, and that starts not just with the actual tournament itself, but I know there's a ton of stuff that goes on the tournament schedule besides the actual 4 days of the main tournament. What else do you guys have planned this year? We talked a little bit about the PGA Junior League that's going to happen. What else do you have planned on the schedule this year?
So Monday of tournament week is August 3rd. So we have our Sand Hills Global Pro-Am, where we have companies that have taken the opportunity to spend some time with either prospects or guests and come out and play the golf course and play with one of these fine gentlemen up here. If you're nice, they might give you a couple helps with maybe reading the putts and things like that. But it's a great way to really kick off the week. We're lucky to work with the club's golf staff. They really make it a lot more seamless, and we have great volunteers that help us execute it. On Tuesday, we'll have a couple private events. It is a practice round day, the entire day for the Korn Ferry Tour golfers. And then on Wednesday, August 5th, we'll have our Dormy Network Pro-Am. So we'll have golf starting from sunup to sundown, and then a little bit past that, hopefully not. But it's a lot of fun to really get people out here, and it's interesting, too, talking to the amateurs on the tee, watching them sit and watch the pro tee off, and then they go up and they play off of their tees. And then, they have someone to root for as they come out that Thursday through Sunday. So they play with Kate and they play with Nate, and they know a little bit more about their story. And then that's who they're going to root for, not just here at our event, but actually throughout the rest of the season. And so it makes a lot of friendships. It really, I think, kind of ties back into that more comfortable, familiar atmosphere, because we also have a player housing program. So we have people that are nice enough to open their homes to allow, some of these golfers that maybe don't live in town, the opportunity to come and stay. And it helps them, they might play better staying in a home, or it helps them save a little bit of money if they're really trying to make it this year on the Korn Ferry Tour. And so just giving them that chance, I think, helps. But then, the entire week, that August 3rd through the 9th, there's always a little bit for everyone. And so the great news is that it's multiple days. So if you really enjoy something, you can always come out another day.
Something to add to that a little. So the caddy deal, my brother-in-law caddied for Cody Blick, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago. Cody Blick's marrying my niece next fall. So, through some random caddy assignment now, 2 people are getting married. So there's always those kind of cool little side stories, The cart kid that caddied for Scotty Scheffler, who maybe missed the cut that day, showed up without a caddy. The story's probably wrong here, but I think it showed up without a caddy, needed a caddy. We grabbed a cart kid out of the cart barn, and he caddied for Scotty Scheffler, right? Those types of stories happen, every year. So they're cool opportunities to be around golfers who will, in time, be the next best on tour.
Or you might even meet your spouse.
There you go.
For people, once the week starts, obviously you can come out here and enjoy the golf, but you guys have the Barnado Concert Series event as well. What other things do you have going on during the golf tournament, either during the day or after play ends, that people can enjoy?
So Thursday morning on August 6th, bright and early at 6:15, I hope to see everyone out here for our ceremonial tee shot. So we're going to have a veteran who will, make the approach. He will hit the tee box. The mayor's going to come out and kind of get things started for us, which will be a lot of fun. We have a bagpiper. We have a high school student singing the national anthem. It kind of gives you chills to see that kick off and ready to go. And then we know that you're going to stick around, and we have 156 Korn Ferry Tour professionals playing on Thursday and Friday. So they're going to be all over the golf course, teeing off of 1 and 10. So, I know Jim mentioned the driving range. I'm really looking forward to seeing people walk through our main entrance gate and having to make that first decision. We're choosing if they want to go to the first tee box where we have some amenities, or if they want to go over to 10 and kind of take that route. We have some fun promotions too that we'll be doing up there with, Oscars and a slice of pizza. We have on our 9 and 18 are finishing holes on Thursday and Friday. So on 18, I think it's easy for everyone to understand the traditional part of 18 and finishing. But on 9, actually being a finishing hole, you'll have guys that are finishing their rounds where you can come and get autographs. And they'll be coming right up here to this patio space. So it's going to be a great chance for those kids to come and make memories and just have some of that, those core memory experiences, if you will. We'll have Javi's Cantina on 9 with our fan zone and some bag chairs. So we really promote you to take them with you as you travel about the golf course. I think Jim's one of his favorites is our hole number 8. It's a fun par 3. Everyone thinks of 17 as a great place for some public amenities with our air-conditioned Patron zone and our pavilions and our hospitality structures. But then, right before you go to the 18 tee box, think about going over to number 8, where we're also going to have concessions out there for the first time. Just because, from going to year 1 to year 10, we've noticed that this is a great spectator course. There's a lot to enjoy. A lot of people sitting there with their jaws hanging open, watching the guys and their approach. And the Monday after the tournament, seeing the people come out that want to try and play how the pros did, good luck to you. They're not mowing the rough, so you better bring a few balls. But it's a lot of fun. And I do, hope that people will stick around on Sunday. Play's going to end about 5 to 5:30. You might not realize it, but Brett Renner is actually announcing those pros as they approach the 18th green. But it's a great chance then to celebrate our champion.
You mentioned a couple times volunteers, player housing. If people want to get involved, are there still opportunities for that this year?
Yes. We will take you up until the last minute. And I think, too, and maybe one of the two of you can speak to, what that Monday qualifying is like. And so Monday qualifying in an event where you don't live and then you need a place to stay. What's that like?
Well, if you do make it through, that's always good news. And then you kind of are left up in the air to find a place to stay, and you got to get your mind right for the tournament. So it does relax us as players a lot to have a home to go to at the end of the day before the tournament.
That's nice. So, yes, so we always need player housing because of that, because we'll have some guys that are coming in late, and caddies too.
Well, there you go. Jess, I think we covered everything? Did we get everything?
I'm always going to add something, Ravi. You know that. So, year 10, we're really excited. Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. Again, we have a little something for everyone, and you don't have to be a golf fan. I've worked some events. I've stuck my best friend out and told her to hold a quiet sign. So it's great. You can enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. We have Clubhouse Plus tickets where you can have access to the sand room down below. If you haven't been down there, that's going to be a great experience. The golf simulators will be open during play. It comes with some food and beverage. But we just really hope that you'll come join us that week of August 3rd.
All right. Anybody have any questions for any of our panelists before we? Yeah, go ahead.
So we are one of the top 2, top 3 events on the Korn Ferry Tour. So, it's interesting when you go and travel to other Korn Ferry Tour events. It's very great, and all those Korn Ferry Tour events help those players get to this spot, but we are more comparable to a small PGA Tour event. From the size of the galleries that you'll have out here, we've had 50,000 spectators over the course of 4 days. And working with, how they're going to come out, what's that going to look like. But, we're lucky enough to have the support of the community, whether that's fans or our business partners, our vendors, our sponsors, and having those individuals with the 15th Club, and the staff out at Indian Creek. But, you know, the event itself, I would say we all take a lot of pride in working the event and making it the pinnacle event in your summer. And so really trying to say, hey, College World Series is over, football hasn't started yet, let's come out and enjoy golf. And, you know, Brett also talked about how the game of golf is growing in Nebraska, and I think that you can also tell just from the kids that come out and participate in our RSM Youth Day or just come and watch.
Any other questions?
It's not a question for me.
I guess I can go. Well, hole 9 stands out to me. I think it was last year. I was just going to say, last year Mother Nature helped us make the hole a little easier by taking out some tree branches on the right there. Unfortunately, that happened. Jim, sorry. But that is a tough hole. I mean, especially from the back tee box. You got a place to be in the fairway to have a shot into the green. It's a small surface area. And a lot of guys will just bail out onto the left and hit a shot from the rough, and hopefully not one of those smaller trees isn't in the way. So hole 9 is definitely a difficult hole. I think all amateurs can improve their game by, clubbing up. If you think you hit your 9-iron 150, not many tour players try to do that. So maybe just try to hit a 120. That'll help on any hole.
That's my problem. Yeah.
They're always great, and I tell people all about it, and that haven't been here before. These greens are amazing. They're smooth, they're fast, and they're intimidating when they're early in the morning. They just got mowed, and they're just like ice. They roll really well. So the greens, and then to complement that, they have some thick rough around the greens to penalize you if you miss a shot. So yeah, they're always good out here. So.
Anybody else? I do believe our panelists are going to be available for some one-on-ones if you have any additional questions for them. Also, we've got lunch coming up here in just a few minutes, and then those that are golfing will tee off in a little more than an hour. So we appreciate you coming out here for the 10th anniversary Media Day 2026 Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day, whether you're golfing, eating, or just have to go back to work.